Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen with your fast break action. Gotta make it happen. Just keep on coming on. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs.
It's Matty and Patty, coast to coast. Welcome to Cleveland Sports Hour. We are two self-aware but unapologetic homers who spend far too much time watching, reading, and thinking about the Cavs. So if you like the informed Cleveland fans' perspective, you have come to the right place. In New York, this is world champion Patrick Beneman. From Los Angeles, I am joined by fellow world champion Matt Youngner. Say hello, champion.
Hey, champ. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Matty, last time we spoke, the Cavs were the surprise of the season at 11-0. You and I were busy taking a well-deserved victory lap for our insistence that the Cavs needed to try a new coach before they blew up the roster. No one believed in us, Matty. Not a soul. They said it couldn't be done. No one, none of our friends agreed with us. They all made the terrible arguments that they should be ashamed by right now. I will not hear anything otherwise. The Cavs went on to a 15-0 mark before losing their first game. They went on to have another 15-game winning streak, and then they had a 16-game winning streak this season. Kenny Atkinson won Coach of the Year, at least as voted by his peers. I think the final vote is coming soon for the actual award.
It's got to be very soon because MVP's got to come in this next round. So, yeah, weird that it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, very weird. And now they just ethered the zombie playoff heat with the most lopsided playoff series win in NBA history, combined 122 points. They just narrowly missed the most lopsided playoff win by 3 points, I think.
I think that's right, in a 5-game series.
Yeah. All that said, Matty, as the Cavs prepare to take on the Pacers, we've come all this way, and I've got to say, I think you and I still harbor serious doubts about this team.
I have the hardest time figuring out what's going on with me and them.
Not so much about them; it's also your own personal.
I sort of do. As I was thinking about it, getting ready for tonight, I was like, I think this is more about me than it is about the team. Like at some point, I need to. They had an amazing. Why can't I be satisfied with that year? They just
enjoy it.
Blew the door. It's a crappy Miami team, I will grant you, but they blew the doors off them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All of my worry from game 2 of that series looks absurd, I will admit. Was the Heat a much worse team than the Memphis team without Ja for a game and a half that Oklahoma City barely swept?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had to come back from 20 points down more.
Yes,
30 points,
30.
Right? 30 to win by 2, and then they won their last game by 2 points. That was a close game.
The Cavs was easily the most impressive team in that first round. Again, the Heat suck. They had an incredible year. I started worrying. My worry down the back end, I think, was legitimate. They played pretty bad basketball. They were uninspired. Their energy was down. They also had an insane schedule.
Yeah.
They did not play in the same city back to back for I can't remember what it was, 40 days or it was something just ridiculous. Finished with an awesome record. And so I'm trying to figure out what's holding me back. And some of it I think is their games against the Celtics, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I had to point to it, I think it's the Celtics games, those 2 Houston games, and the Oklahoma City blowout. And all those feel sort of a piece to me, and their losses started to feel of a piece to me.
Mm-hmm.
Where the 3-point shot's not falling, they can't figure out something else to do with the offense. They get into isolation ball. They stop rebounding. That's a formula for them that I saw repeated enough times that it gave me pause.
I think you put your finger right on it, Matty. And I think let's unpack that. I mean, look, part of this is just the nature of being a Cleveland sports fan, right?
Also that. And then that's where I'm like, this might be me.
Despite finally becoming champions, we will always think this way because we've been taught by life and experience to think this way. However, I think that's the point of tonight. Tonight we're going to unpack all of that. Tonight we're going to start by dissecting the Heat series that just was. We're going to dig into what worries us about the Pacers and what's going forward. We will also take a moment to address the preposterous suggestion that hating too many players and teams dilutes one's love for one's team, suggested by one of our friends. We will get into that in a little bit. If there's time, a word or two about the Tribe and the Browns. But first, before we do any of that, as ever, let's begin with the kill list.
Most important, Patty.
Most important. Let's start first with a posthumous Heat kill list of the Heat. I think number one with the bullet has to be Tyler Herro, right?
I don't know who I'll come up with a second place. I have a second place in mind, but it's him with a bullet. It's we've talked about this before, Patty. It's tougher in a sweep.
Yeah, it's tougher
when you're sweeping somebody. If you get swept,
exactly.
There's plenty of hate to be generated. That bad feeling's got to go somewhere. But when you're sweeping a team, it is, especially when you're beating them by the largest margin in sweep history, it's hard to gin up that kind of emotion to really
yet,
let.
And yes. Tyler Herro can eat shit.
Yes.
To remind listeners who weren't following the back and forth closely enough after the Cavs escaped Game 2 with a very close victory. We had a huge lead. We almost blew it, and we held on in the end. They asked Garland afterwards what was the secret to beating the Heat in these crunch time moments, and Garland said, you pick on Tyler Herro and take care of the ball. Don't play in tight spaces and pick on their weak defenders. So, of course, the Heat, some good reporters do their job. They give this information to Tyler Herro to get another quote back, and he gets all miffed and says, somebody that doesn't play defense shouldn't be talking either. He don't play any defense, and we'll see that tomorrow. He don't play no D, as in Garland. Now, what I think is even like the most disrespectful thing is that Garland was like, my toe hurts. I'm just going to sit out the rest of the series and still kick your ass. Which has got to be so enraging.
And there's some suggestion that he was the kids ducking the smoke or couldn't handle the smoke.
Nah,
I don't think so. He was genuinely banged up.
He was limping at the end of that game.
More pathetic to me is that the Heat has that as their chalkboard. Yeah, and just shit the bed.
Just came out and immediately shit the bed. Two straight games at home. Just
awful. Bad energy. Didn't want to be there. The Hero looks terrible, especially in Game 4.
Absolutely. And every time we got to 2 minutes at the end of the half, it was the saddest dos minutos. Just such a sad dos minutos.
So Hero for sure, for clapping back, for performing as poorly as he did. He's got a hateable face, Patty, doesn't he? Punchable?
Super hateable. Pretty boy. And also he's the fake tough guy, the snarl. Remember that snarl?
Right, we're calling him a pretty boy?
I think so. Wouldn't you say? Those high cheekbones, man. Is he not? I don't know.
Our listeners will tell us how they feel about that.
Yeah, I'm
that
curious.
Matter. There's way prettier boys in the league, Patty, okay?
Do we need to rank the prettiest NBA players?
Matty and Patty's hot list.
It's hot or not for the NBA.
Maybe for our next one.
I like that. What Gall
actually, Patty, let's do that for the next time. People will get a kick out of that.
100%. That's a good idea. I'm going to prepare that for the next podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
One final thing for me on Tyler. I'm going to go back to what Harold said. Somebody that doesn't play defense shouldn't be talking. He don't play any defense. He don't play no D. He said it 3 times about Garland, who fucking plays defense really fucking well for someone that's like 6 foot. And the point is, he's a liability defense because he's short. He plays his ass off, and he started this year in particular. He really worked to make himself better. Again, huge credit to Kenny Atkinson, and that dude. We've seen it all year. The Celtics did it to their detriment a bunch of times with a little bit with their tall wings would go ISO,
just hunting him,
one-on-one, taking shot after shot after shot. And we kept being like, why are they letting Garland guard him? But he'd be taking these jumpers. They got out of their rhythm. They would over hunt it so much, and Garland made it hard enough and made him take tough contested 15-footers, and they would miss him. It was like 50%. It's not a great shot.
I think that's right, Patty. He is he's poorly sized to play really great defense in the league, but he, I think, in general, positions himself well, tries as hard as he can. I think has done a much better job this year fighting over screens where it's appropriate. He's a reasonable system. He's just small.
Yeah.
And he's never going to be a great defender because he doesn't have the size to be, but I don't think it's fair to call him a bad defender. He could be a liability on that end. And maybe that's a distinction without a difference sometimes, but
the last thing you say about him is he doesn't play defense. You don't play
correct.
Defense. That fucking guy balls out as hard as he can fucking defense.
No, I didn't. Yeah, and it's sort of a tribute to the team this year. While their defense has faltered, and we can talk about that later because that's the other thing that has been problematic for them.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't play hard defense on that team?
I really don't know. Some thoughts on this in a little bit.
We'll come back to that.
Let's keep moving.
Patty, back to the hate. Back to
the hate. Let's get back to the hate. Let's what this podcast is really about.
So we're definitely agreed on Hero is number one. Do you have a number two?
My number two would be Davion Mitchell.
Yes. Yep.
Just that. And look, got a hittable face. You know what I mean? It's like that's what it comes down to.
He is it helps to be hateable if you are effective as a player.
Yes, and he was very effective. He was very good. One of the only three players that scared me on that team.
Yes, especially in game 2, he was instrumental in their comeback.
Yeah, he was doing what he did to get in the play-in tournament, right? Like that when he got the team alive. So it helps to be at least a little good at something to gin up my anger. Yes.
I think that's how I felt too. He talks a bit. The braids annoyed me a little bit, I think, for the reason I'd have to unpack more.
Again, a lot of psychoanalysis here has to happen.
Oh yeah. Agreed. He was my number 2 too. Do you have a number 3, Patty?
I don't know that I do because one, I love him. I love Bam Adebayo. I like that player. I like him. I love his game. I like his attitude. I don't know. I'm a big fan of his. But everyone else,
Patty, there's a 3 for me anyway. It's Duncan Robinson.
Ooh, I think it might just be his face too. I don't know what else did he do that pisses you off.
His face doesn't help. He was the victim of my favorite moment from the series, which was Donovan Mitchell shoving him.
Yes.
Off of, I'm even blank. Who was it? Merrill that was on the ground? I think it was Merrill.
Yep.
Fouled him on a 3-point shot, sort of was standing over him complaining. I don't think he was even really taunting Merrill, but Mitchell is
No, exactly. That's the thing. I don't think he was trying to be a dick, Duncan Robinson, but Mitchell immediately was like, "Get the fuck out." That was great.
I think he is it for me because he can randomly get hot from 3 in a way that drives you crazy in the game.
Yep. Very
hateable face. He's number 3 for me. I'm looking at their roster right now. I don't know that I have. Scary Terry wasn't playing. He could get there sometimes.
But that's the thing. When you get back to it, I mean, this is the bottom line. This is where we'll move on to the Pacers. But like when you're crushing a team when they suck, when they aren't good, it's hard to hate them because Duncan never fucking scared me. I said if I was a Heat fan, I would fucking hate Duncan Robinson because he's the kind of guy you expect to go Nova. You need him to go Nova on this stuff. And the fact that he doesn't and just bricks wide open threes, it would drive me crazy. Like what would you say you do here, Duncan Robinson? What is your point? What is your purpose if you're not going to hit these fucking threes? And he just missed a ton of them. He was just not scary at all. So I couldn't even get to level 8 with him. He will live. He will live because I do not think about him at all.
Yeah. What a weird team that is.
That's such a weird dynamic for the Heat for 4 straight years now. Just stink all year and then turn on late and then barely make the playoffs and sort of play well and then fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they had that 1 year where they made the finals, that crazy run from the 8th seed to the finals. 2 years ago, right?
They had that year, and then they had the bubble finals.
Oh, that's true. That's right. The bubble finals. I forgot about that.
Which was also weird.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't need to spend more time on this other than to say I don't know what the hell happens to that team. People would talk about them as a Giannis destination. I'm like, I don't. What do they have to trade?
Yeah.
They'd have to trade everything that's good on their roster to go. They have 3 assets, maybe.
Did they get anything in the trade with Golden State? I don't even know. What do they get?
They got a Golden State pick. I think it's a Golden State pick. I don't think it was somebody else's. Wiggins, Kyle Anderson. If that moves you.
How bad is we were just talking about this whole time going, who else do I hate? I forgot Wiggins was on their team.
He was so invisible in that series. He had I can't remember. I think it was the first game they shot very well from 3, and I think Wiggins shot very well from 3 in that game.
I only noticed it when he hit these like line drive, no arc 3-pointers. I'm like, how did that fucking go in? So weird.
Yeah, and sure enough, it stopped going in, right? Yeah, he is
low percentage shot to shoot that.
What a weird career from being the second best player on the team that won the championship 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Just
that was one of the weakest NBA champions ever in fucking NBA history.
Maybe the weakest.
I mean, seriously, because they make the playoffs next year. It was pathetic. All right. Enough of the Heat. They don't deserve.
Can we look ahead, Patty?
Look ahead. We spent far too much time on the Heat. I mean, I guess kudos to the Heat. They got this much time out of us. The kill list. All right. The prospective Pacers kill list. I think number one with a bullet, contrary to our theory about like who is threatening, it's got to be just TJ McConnell, just based on his fucking face and his attitude, and I just fucking want to kill him.
That too much tryharding.
Oh, the fucking tryhard. Oh my God, there's never been a tryhard that ever tried harder. This motherfucker, and also he's just got this cockiness that is undeserved. Mm-hmm. Undeserved cockiness is the most enraging fucking thing. You are TJ fucking McConnell. You are like an extra in fucking Hoosiers, like Hickory High. Like you were that ball boy that shot the ball like underhanded. Yeah. Like you were fucking nobody. Who the fuck are you, TJ McConnell? And yes, you're on my team for a brief second in fantasy. It was fucking embarrassing. Fucking embarrassing.
Who? I'm trying to remember. In the 2 games we played them back to back. They beat us, and then I think they beat us in Cleveland, and then we beat them in Indiana, if I'm right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like in December. Somebody got into it with McConnell. I think it was Niang.
I think it was.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right. I was so fucking mad at him.
Niang, it would drive me insane. I mean, watching the play-in games with Atlanta I was like, oh my God, thank God I don't have to worry about this.
Yes.
But he had his uses. I miss him a little bit, and just being that motherfucker for us was something.
I don't know. I honestly feel like they got into it to each other, and then they also laughed at each other. Like, I mean, I have a feeling that the reputation TJ actually has is a decent guy, but I
think so too. And there was a little game recognizes game between those two guys.
Niang can be a dick on the court, but I think he's doing it to just get people up. Yes. Yeah, it's just like tip the cap. I get that. But still, fuck you. I want to kill you.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think he is. I'm getting mad thinking about him right now, actually. So,
getting worked up.
So I think he is my number one as well. Your number 2?
You're going to be number 2. I'm going to go out and he may not be my number 2, but he's the next one I want to talk about. But Obi Toppin.
Oh, Patty, I did not. That's not where I thought you were going to go. Tell me more. Obi
Toppin is one of those guys who can get crazy hot at random times. He showboats and is a little bit extra with shit.
Nobody likes throwing down like a between the legs dunk in a game when the game's still, how come the game's still in doubt? Yeah,
still not exactly. Just he's a fucking like knucklehead, but he'll do it for the fuck you kind of like stuff. But the thing is, like, just like you said with Duncan Robinson, he can get crazy hot and drive you fucking crazy, and he'll let you know it, and he'll do it in a way that's
there's a world where he hits a couple 3-pointers in a critical time in this series that drive me insane. Yeah,
he's got some decent length too, and this will be a theme we're coming up with. Like the length bothers the Caps, and Obi's one of the guys that's got he's like a 7-foot wingspan, maybe. I think it's a good wingspan. So he's one of those guys that can drive me crazy. I think he's going to sneak up and just piss me the fuck off, and I'm just going to want to kill him. So
I think that's an admirable pick, Patty. My number 2 is Halliburton.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. All right. He might. He may get to be number 1 soon. There's so many reasons why. I mean,
the better player, of course, the guy that if he's right, and big question there, and I think a lot of what possible outcomes for this series will depend on how right he is. He can just carry that team, win games by himself. That's, I'm not saying anything new. That stretch, not this season, but the season before, the first half of the year, he was a top 2 guard in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But also feels very he's corny, man. He's corny like Clay is. And
he's very trolly. He's very trolly. I mean, just we'll talk about Giannis in a minute, but like he is an intense troll of Giannis in particular. Like he, will play on that shit, and he is corny like that, and he'll like keep playing on it in a way that drives you crazy. Plus, he ticks a lot of boxes. He will, do all the shit, extra shit that drives you crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just rub it in your face. He's scary. He's the player that scares you the most because he can hit the most ridiculous shots, and also he looks so ugly shooting it too. Like there's something about like a shot
that jump
looking
shot's
ugly,
atrocious looking,
and being good. Like, it's almost like Trae Young is not even that good of a player, honestly, because he's ugly and hits those shots. Like it just drives you crazy. Same thing with Hallie, with the ugly shot, and he makes all the time. And again, he's also fucking 6'5" and 6'8" wingspan. He's long as shit.
Yep.
He could be a sneaky guy. He's an extra tall guy out there when we got smaller guards. So he's got all the things working for him that's going to make him probably. He likely will end up number 1 on our kill list by the end of the series. But I think it starts out with TJ at the top, Hallie probably number 2, and Obi's my sleeper.
The sneaky guys on their team.
I don't know who else to really hate right now.
I mean, I could see Nemhard or Neesmith, either of those guys getting there. I don't really hate that, but it's one of those things where they could just start doing stuff in the series that starts to drive me crazy.
Yeah. Pascal doesn't piss you off?
He doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. I know.
Part of it is I think he has the Toronto stink on him where I just can't, like the LeBronto period is still,
because we clown them so much that they don't scare you anymore.
I was just like this. I can't get mad at you, man. Miles Turner, I have a hard time getting mad about. I don't know why, because he can be I think he is somebody that worries me in this series for sure.
Pascal does too, because again, long guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the perimeter, scary guys.
So I'll be interested. And another fun thing about this is contenders emerge. Oh, Thomas Bryant, I could see emerging, Patty.
Ooh, that's a good sneaker.
This happened in one of the games we played them where he was playing really well, and it really, really pissed me off.
Yeah,
he shouldn't. So I could see him sneaking in there.
He's a good guy. All right, sports fans, you've got the people to look out for to kill if you have the chance. Not literally, not seriously. We're not actually saying it, of course. This is all metaphorical. This is all a thought experiment, but in your mind, just be prepared. All right, let's move on to the playoff preview here. Before we get back to the Pacers, I think it's important to talk about what we liked and didn't like in the Cavs Heat series. We talked a little bit about it already, but Matty, take me through what you liked out of the Cavs in the Heat series that you saw that hopefully we can carry over to the next series.
Ball movement.
Mm-hmm.
I think number one for a bullet with me is ball movement. I feel like that's when their offense gets bogged down and 3-point. Sometimes they bail themselves out with 3-point shooting. But when they're playing well, those 3-pointers come naturally out of the flow of the offense, and you're working inside and back out. You have the guards breaking down the defense, or working a Mobley at the nail, or whatever they're doing to get in, and that ball swinging around. That's when they are really good, and I think we saw that for honestly the majority of that series. It stopped for a quarter, basically, the end of the third quarter and the majority of the fourth quarter in game 2 that they nearly lost.
Yeah.
But beyond that, and especially the 2 games in Miami, they were playing the kind of offense
sizzling
I like to see. And I think they shoot well in those games, in my opinion, because they are moving the ball and getting the kind of shots that I don't know, they come in the flow of the offense, that are not just, Donovan hero ball, which can work every once in a while and worked at the end of game 2. It's wonderful to have him to bail us out, and DG's capable of that as well. But I don't think that's not the way they're going to have a good outcome in this series, or a good outcome if they're able to advance the rest of the playoffs. They really need that offense to go. And I feel like their defense feeds off of that.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the moments when their D got a little weak, they were allowing too much penetration from David Mitchell, as we were talking about. Being here, this is one, Patty, we should talk about this. Like when we were frustrated with their play in the back end of the regular season, and they were just allowing so many 3-point shots. The losses to the King, both losses to the Kings, I think, in general, when they played poorly, we were just, I don't know, some of it was the zone defense we were playing, playing off of 3-point shooters. It felt like a strategy that they were trying that it just drove me insane.
This is all wide open 3. And the guy had the ball, and the next closest guy was like at least 15 feet away, charging, like wide open. Yeah.
So, anyways, what I think that's what I liked is the ball movement, and I feel like that helped the energy on their defense was excellent the last 2 games of that series. The Heat also suck. So
I think that you're right. The thing to keep an eye out for is when the Cavs are no longer working the ball inside to generate 3-point looks. When they're not trying, or again, the other thing they have a tendency to just jack up threes, which is sometimes fine in the flow of the game, or have the guards just initiate penetration. Again, occasionally, fine. We have the guards that initiate that, and they can just go 1-on-5, and they do score like that, and you get rebounds or they get passes, yada yada. But they fall into that habit sometimes when that's the danger zone. When they aren't working it through Mobley and Allen, using the big man interior passing, working it in, getting it down low, even if they turn it over, like if they aren't trying to do that, that's what worries me, because then you get into these bad spells where they'll have a lot of turnovers or long rebounds that turn into fast breaks, and we start giving up a lot of points. Yeah. So that's the thing to keep an eye out for.
I think that's right. So that's thinking about when we want to talk about what we're worried about with the Pacers or what we were looking for.
Yep.
The thing that's scary, I mean, you mentioned length. The thing,
you'll
remember this from the game.
Length is the biggest number 1 concern for the Pacers.
And you'll remember this from the game that we lost to the last 2 games. I'm not even counting. People are going to be like, the Cavs are 1-3 against the Pacers this year. We didn't play anybody in the last 2 games, and we nearly won both of them. Mm-hmm. The last one, nobody was playing anybody. It was the G Leaguers from both. That's nonsense. There were 2 real games between these teams, and they split them. The game we lost, do you remember when we went through that stretch where we had like 3 or 4 turnovers in our backcourt in a row?
Yeah.
Got lazy, got sloppy, and we can get in that mode. Donovan especially can get loose with the handle.
Yeah.
When faced with pressure like that. You got pests like McConnell that are, Jose Alvaradoing it in the backcourt, looking for those moments. The thing that drives me craziest about Jared Allen is getting rebounds and being loose with the ball, getting it knocked away, or outletting the pass lazily and having that's going to happen in this series, and it's going to drive me insane when it does.
Yeah.
I worry about that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just our ability to hang on to the ball, limit turnovers, and limit them, like those live ball turnovers in the backcourt, which are absolutely killer, that translate into buckets the other way almost immediately, break all the momentum. That's a huge, and obviously their length is a factor in that, but I feel like we are susceptible to it more than other teams maybe. And maybe that's a feature of that is just our lack of size for our guards.
That is part of it. Said length always bothers us. You've got Miles Turner, you got Siakam, right? Those are 2 super long guys. You've got, as we said, Hallie is 6'5", 6'8" wingspan for a fucking point guard. You've got Obi. We talked about how Mathurin too.
Nembhard and Neesmith, both.
They're big, but I looked them up on wingspan. I think they're like not crazy wingspan, but still they're 6'4", 6'5", something like that in that range. But like they're not short. Whereas you got a bunch of 6'3" guys. So and how tall is I should look this up, but Strus always plays a little smaller than I think he is. But
and I don't trust his handle.
What this is the funny thing is one of the length bothering us is part of the reason we made the trade for what's his name? Sorry, shoot.
The Predator?
The Predator? What?
DeAndre Hunter?
Is that his nickname? Jesus Christ.
I think Dan Gilbert was calling him I don't think Dan Gilbert coined it, but was calling him the Predator. I think people were trying to have making fetch happen.
Can I just say, Jesus Christ? I hope that's not his nickname because that's a terrible nickname. But literally, I went to see a hockey game between the New York Rangers and the Nashville Predators, and I was like, "Are we fucking kidding? Is there an actual professional sports team from Nashville called Predators?" And you're gonna fucking say, "Oh no, it's like a saber-tooth tiger logo." Fuck off! You can't call a team the Predators. That is such a failure of branding. What the fuck?
It also feels like sexual predators is the risk.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Who refers to generic class of predator? Like carnivores? Like what? The mammals? First of all, it's like a class of it. It's not even an animal. It's not even one specific beast. It's like here's a generic class of.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even make sense on its own terms, and then it's also a synonym for sexual deviant. Sexual abuser. Oh my God. So God, I did not know that, not want to know that about DeAndre Hunter, but I'm glad we learned this because I forgot his name for a second. So yeah, DeAndre Hunter, I didn't think a ton of play in the Heat series, which is fine. He played all right, and I like how he attacks, and like how he plays.
Games 3 and 4, he played great. He barely played at all in the first game, and it was a little weird.
I wonder how much more he'll play in this series because that's part of the reason we got him. Not because he's a defensive stopper. He's just got length. Again, a lot of these guys I'm talking about, Hallie's not a great defensive player per se. Obi is definitely not a great defensive player. They're just long and they just bother you, And again, that's what DeAndre Hunter can do. And I wonder if we see a lot more of him in this series, a lot more minutes. If he becomes one of the biggest six men off the bench, or if he even starts over Strus. I don't know. I'm curious. What do you think?
I don't think Kenny's going to mess with the starting lineup.
Because he did start DeAndre over Strus a couple times in the regular season for certain matchups, I feel like. But I don't know. Didn't he? Am I crazy? I did. Maybe Strus was injured or something.
I think that was only injury related. I think when Strus was healthy, he started those games. I sort of wonder if he's saving that for the Celtics.
Yeah. Because again, there's another team that we need that kind of length on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think he messes with the starting lineup, but I think you see a lot of DeAndre Hunter. I think you see a lot of Ty Jerome in this series. I'm curious how he shortens, does he shorten the bench? You saw almost no Okoro.
Yeah.
In the Heat series, and very little Dean Wade. I feel like we might need some Dean Wade in this series. Okoro's 3-point shot was not great, but I still love, even just for.
You want him over Merrill in the playoff rotation. I remember you were saying this late in the season, the regular season. You wanted Merrill to be on the bench and Okoro. And I will say, Okoro is the kind of guy I need to see on Hallie for stretches, especially when Hallie's getting hot.
Yeah, there's moments, and I appreciate using it judiciously, but like a defensive lineup that we can play with Okoro and Wade out there with. Pick your poison, Mobley and whatever, Mitchell and Jerome or something like that. That's just a little longer, can get a little nasty. On defense, I'm a huge Dean Wade fan. I know none of his stuff shows up in the box score. He's excellent for us.
He's fantastic. He wasn't playing great in this series early on, but he came on, I think, in the game 4 or whatever. But he was a little quiet. But he's just so sound in good position and just makes things difficult. It's just the odds.
Always.
I will say this about Sam Merrill in that Heat series, and what I've been saying about him all year, similar to Darius Garland, that dude plays fucking good defense.
Oh,
he does not have the size. He is not, but he gets the right position. He's smart. He makes it difficult.
Yeah.
And he's, and when he's hot, he hits threes like nobody else. He's our, he's our secret weapon. So that's why it's like he's going to be in that rotation. I want him to be in that rotation. I disagree with you on the idea of him not getting minutes, but I also agree with you that Coro's got to be part of it. You got to decide offense or defense at a certain moment, and it's
going to be a big thing to watch with Kenny. Is just how he manages.
Yeah,
because I appreciate wanting to shorten your roster as you get deeper in the playoffs, and we'll always remember the championship run and Patty, that game 7, 3 guys played off the bench, and one of them was Mo Williams for 2 minutes or something like that.
Yes, he did. He got a basket in that game. Yeah, in the first half, it was incredible.
But I sort of want him to stick with. I'd like to see at least a 9-man and at times a 10-man rotation. I think for us, it just used judiciously in small spurts. Excuse me, and that's a thing to watch for Kenny Freeman. Just what his philosophy is in this series, I think will be interesting.
And you're watching some of these teams that are getting burnt out, like the fucking Lakers, man. They play their 5 all 40 minutes, and they play 3 other guys like 15, and that's it. Yeah. And they're gassed at the end of the games. The fact that we can throw our guys at you, they're not playing more than 35 minutes, any of our starters, and all of them, like, it's just like, this kid's coming at you,
Yeah. That's a real asset that we have. So the speaking of length and things I'm worried about is our defensive rebounding, of course.
Yeah.
That's or Patty, does anything drive me crazier in a game than us starting to give up offensive rebounds?
Nope. And what I loved about the prime years of TT was how much he would drive other teams crazy by constantly getting those offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, again, you saw a little bit of Jared Allen really starting to like get a lot of those offensive rebounds and starting to get a little tougher in the Heat series. Going back to the Heat series, things we liked. I mean, again, I thought both Mobley had an amazing series again with his great defense and some just blocks where he just like snatched people's souls and then came down and was aggressive on offense. Jared Allen had an amazing series. Ty Jerome was fantastic, right? And just shining that those are all fantastic things to look into. But again, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, like they were huge and key in the Heat blowout. We need them to be that good to hopefully take care of business here in round 2.
And what I can't have is a replay of the Knicks series from 2 years ago.
No,
where they're just and the Pacers are not that on the boards. It's not Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, but they're long. And I've seen God bless Evan Mobley. He's wonderful. I'm very glad we have him. But he's not stout. He'll get more stout. He'll get bigger and stronger as he continues to grow.
They're both skinny guys.
He can get pushed around in there.
Yeah.
Like crazy in a way that drives me nuts, and it can make a difference in these games.
Yeah, they can. That's something to watch for. To a couple of things I want to just like flag before we move on. Things from the Heat series again. One thing, Matty, you were worried about at the end of the year is Garland's shooting. He shot 41% from 3 in those 2 games and 51% overall, so that's a good sign. He looked really good.
Much happier with him, and even the last couple of games that he played in the regular season, I think it felt like he was getting his stroke back. So, one to watch for us though, because
that's key.
Yep.
And I think it was actually quite key how clutch Mitchell was at the end of that game 2 rescue. Like we don't win that game, honestly. Game 2,
he bailed us out of that one.
He bailed us out with a fucking amazing turnaround mid-range jumper. Like that's the kind of star shit. That's the alpha dog shot you have to make, and then he hit 2 big threes. Like that was it. So having Mitchell come through in the clutch was a great sign. And Sam Merrill had a good series. That's another thing to keep an eye out for. Other things that worry me, Matty. Rick Carlisle, it's a good fucking coach.
Yeah, evil genius.
And like with Spoelstra, the Pacers, like the Heat, play better in the playoffs than they did in the regular season. They did it last year, and I could see them do it again this year. So there's nothing to be worried about.
They're good. I will say the Milwaukee Bucks stink on ice.
Yes, and those are all close games, and they should not have been close games. Without also Dame for those
especially once Lillard went down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Milwaukee lost that last game more than the Pacers won it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of embarrassing. So they're playing well. I'm not taking anything away from them, but if I was a Pacers fan, I'd be worried about that.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Carlisle's an excellent coach, an excellent playoff coach. Nice test for Kenny.
Yeah, good
you know, like I wouldn't say that Kenny outdueled Spoelstra in that series. I think we were just way better than the Heat. We're just way more talented.
Yeah.
That was not a fair. It was not a fair fight.
Agreed.
I think we are more talented than the Pacers, but not an order of magnitude. So
yeah.
And coaching can and perhaps will make a difference in this series.
Yeah,
it's right. I'm listen. I can pick on some of Kenny's things from this year, but in general, I think what can you say? He did an amazing job. He'll win Coach of the Year, probably. I think that's deservedly so. But this is where your medals really. Listen, we saw our old buddy JB. I think not coach a great game. Arguably not coach a great series. You know, his old bugaboos just spending the entire time yelling at the refs rather than
absolutely. JB is a great team builder. He builds a great culture and he builds a great team structure. His strategy is not his best point, and I still root for that fucking guy. What a great season they had.
No, I don't. I obviously have bad things to say about him, so I don't want to say that, but I don't have any ill will towards him. I wish him well.
No,
he is a good coach. He just has
a good fucking dude, but he has some foibles that came to light in that series. Although I will say it was very nice watching the Pistons out rebound the Knicks. That was nice to see. JB get some revenge on that. All right. Let's get to some predictions, Matty. What's your prediction for the Pacers series? And I'll caveat all of this for any listeners that aren't familiar with us. We're Cleveland sports fans, so our predictions are generally tinged with doom. So, Matty, what's your prediction?
Patty, I thought about this long and hard, and from all irrational angles as well as rational angles. I think when it's all said and done, I believe in this team. I think we are better than the Pacers. I think Cavs in 5. I'm knocking on all the wood, Patty. I'm doing all my reverse jinx bullshit. But like,
funny thing is, my Cleveland sports fandom made it Cavs in 6, but my mind tells me also Cavs in 5. I just don't have the. I'm doing the extra caps, the Cleveland fan.
The tax almost.
Tax, yes, exactly. It's a little tax. Add 1 game to whatever I think is going to be the answer. So I'm with you on that. That's what it should be. Whether it's going to be that or not is the big question. And that's what my Cleveland sports fandom tells me it'll be 6.
It's interesting. I mean, there's probably not a lot of the pundits that I've heard really think Pacers are, and I'm not saying they're wrong. I think the Pacers are good.
Yeah.
I think they are clearly the third. I think they're better than the Knicks.
Yeah, I think they are 100%. I would prefer the Knicks at this point.
Yes, I would have very little worries going into a Knicks series right now, other than what the hatred I would feel towards Jalen Brunson would make me think. That I think that would be my chief concern. But that said, I think we are better than them.
Yeah.
And I sort of think we show it.
Let's hope, because it'll be a long and dark off season.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the truth, right, Patty? I mean, we went into this saying at a minimum they need to get to a series against the Celtics, and they need to have a good series. I don't need them to win necessarily, but I need them to show up and really have a good series for me to be satisfied, for me to call this season progress over what we did last year. Bowing out in the second round like we did last year to an inferior team where we have home court advantage would be exceedingly disappointing.
Look, the Cavs raised the bar.
Mm-hmm.
When they came out of the gate with 15 wins, and the Cavs victory frog was a thing. They almost immediately raised the stakes of no, we can't just have a good series in 2 rounds. It's conference finals or bust.
Yeah.
I can still be happy about making the conference finals, not making it from there. I mean, I'm not happy, but like it won't be a disaster. But not making it to the conference finals will be a disaster. So let's hope we avoid that.
I agree. I think it will be a good series. I don't think.
Yeah.
You know, I'll pick 5. This is not. We're setting the scoring margin victory for a 5-game series. Like that ain't happening.
This is a good fucking team.
I think it'll be a dogfight.
The Heat were well coached. Pacers are well coached, but the Pacers have a significant advantage over the Heat in terms of talent. So that's what we're going to see here.
They do, and as our buddy Skyler is quick to say, this is the length, and you said this, Patty. You know, length has bothered us throughout the year.
Yep.
But let's see what happens. I think we have. I think we can combat that, and there's reason to be hopeful about that.
Agreed.
I'm looking forward to it.
Matty, do you have anything to say about the Knicks Celtics series? Are you looking for anything there? Do we want to watch this?
I don't even know. What am I rooting for, Patty? A long series, I guess. I'm rooting for a long series.
Yeah, long series. You never root for injuries, but
no.
You don't kick them out of bed.
But some wear and tear. Some wear and tear. I mean,
wear and tear.
I happen to think that is not what we're going to get. I think the Celtics are going to run them out. I
think 5 games at most.
5 max, and that's I get the Celtics have a tendency to play with their food.
Yep.
They did it against Orlando.
Exactly.
You know, they have a long history of playing with their food. I feel like even back to the PP Garnett, Ray Allen teams. I just remember them going 7 games against the Hawks. That Hawks,
that was weird.
Very mid team. So yeah, I think 5 because they just take their foot off the gas at some point. But I don't know. I was not impressed with the Knicks at all in that series.
No, not
at all. I mean, the refs bailed them out of that one game, and then Detroit sort of fumbled away the game yesterday.
It's crazy. The Knicks, like the refs are handing the Knicks so much shit year after year after year, and they can't get out of the second round. It's fucking embarrassing, man.
I wonder if Tibbs makes it through if they lose this series badly.
I mean, he can't. He's a terrible. I mean, that's why I was so angry when the Cavs lost the Knicks in that first round series. Tibbs is a terrible coach. Like he's a one-note fucking coach. He's not a good NBA. At least not. He's not. Sorry, I shouldn't say he's not a good coach. He's a very good coach. Obviously, like he is where he is because he's a good coach. He's just not an elite coach at all. He has a ceiling that he hits.
Yeah,
that everyone should recognize by now. It's a terrible. Jeez.
It just doesn't adjust.
Yeah, it's a gift to that he because it's the thing. The Knicks team could be scary. That's a deep fucking team. I know they're not as deep as they used to be because they created some of their depth, but they got a lot of good players, really good players. I really do think the Knicks can be scary if they replace their coach, similar to the way the Cavs seemed like they were middling and then they just reached another level. So you got to keep an eye out for the Knicks next year if they get rid of him. Denver and the Clips, Game 7. It feels like another Lakers situation. I feel like the Denver's out of gas, man. But
do you think so?
I don't know. They seem.
I mean, every game in this series has been
way back and forth. I mean, who knows? I have no idea. I will never.
I've changed my mind 3 or 4 times in this series.
Also, like they have a whole history of like they had 3 straight, postseasons. I think where they went down 3-1 and they won series like multiple times, and it was like they're just crazy. Like they just don't flinch.
I think the game in Denver. It's the Clippers too, man. Like I don't know. Talk about jinxed franchises. My gut is to go with Denver, but nothing would surprise me.
I like Ty Lue and Kawhi Leonard. I don't know, man. I think they might pull it out.
They're good. You could tell me anything, honestly. Denver blowout, Clippers blowout, close win by either team. I could see any of that happening. And you're right. And you're right. Think about teams that don't have a bench. Denver is so reliant on those guys. So Porter Jr.'s hurt. The big problem, right?
You're seeing a Lakers thing where they're just
Yes.
drained by the fourth quarter, and they can't. If they're a little bit behind, if they're close and stuff, they're just going to fall off, like the Warriors did tonight. They just fell off.
Yeah.
Which reminds so this is a good transition to the next topic here. Again, Houston Warriors Game 7 coming up in 2 days on Sunday, right? I think
right after the Cavs Pacers game.
That's right. I think we're about to watch the next 3-1 blown lead by the Warriors. As I predicted to Skylar, I told Skylar, you were sitting here getting so mad at me for not caring that the Warriors were winning when all I was rooting for was the Warriors to get a 3-1 lead. It's 4D chess here, man. You're playing checkers. No, so this is a good transition to our hate symposium. Our philosophical discussion of the nature of sports hate. This was inspired by I was sort of like indifferent to the Warriors as they were beating Houston in a close game to go up 3-1, partly because I really fucking hate Dylan Brooks. He's probably the most in the league. He's probably my number one on my kill list out of the entire league is Dylan Brooks.
Worse than Draymond.
Worse than Draymond right now, 100%.
Wow.
But again, I can explain how all this works. I'll explain how all this works right now. But let's go back to so Skylar reacted to me maybe the next day, and he said, I thought about this quite a bit. It was like a full day later after all this. He really thought about it for a while, and he sent this really thoughtful note to our WhatsApp chat, which I don't think we invited. A writer from the Atlantic too. I think fortunately we did not do that. You're safe and secure and who was in our chat groups. But Skylar's contention to me was that he says, quote, I decided that your hate of Dylan Brooks, if transferred to the Rockets as an entire team, cheapens your hate of the Warriors. So it's fine if you want to hate a whole team because of one player, but you will be known as an inferior hater on the Warriors as a result, and your takes will be taken less seriously.
This is amazing.
Which is just, I want to frame that. That is such a perfect fucking text. Jesus, that is so fucking brilliant, Skylar. It's gorgeous. 10 out of 10. That was poetry, and just I my cheeks warmed when I said read it. Oh,
it is pretty
coming at me. He follows up with, which in turn makes you less of a Cavs lover.
I love that.
Hate the Warriors, so choose wisely. Oh, challenge accepted, Skylar Schmidt. So allow me to just explain my theory of sports hate, my expansionist theory of sports hate. Number one principle: hate of one single player can tarnish the rest of the team. Absolutely. Bar none, that is the number one principle. I could like every other player on Michael Jordan's Bulls. I will hate the fucking Bulls more than anyone because of Michael Jordan. 100%.
I have a hard time arguing with that, Patty.
Now, where that rank of the player, it's complicated by their obnoxiousness, but again, we talk about by fear. And by team too. Team fear. Team also plays.
Yeah.
So Celtics, Rockets, and Oklahoma City right now scare me the most. So I tend to have a elevated hate of these teams. Rockets is their length, right? They're young, they're youthful, but they got that length that fucking scares me, right? OKC, similar reasons, but they're also rising up and coming, and the Celtics for fucking obvious reasons. So I'm already inclined to hate them a little more.
I'm tracking it.
Now you can say, again, I don't fear Dylan Brooks as much because Dylan Brooks is a fucking buster. But again, there's that try-hard thing, that fucking try-hard bullshit, the fake tough guy shit. There's a bunch of things that push my fucking buttons. And the fact that he is succeeding again, whether he fares me, the fact that he's on a good fucking team that scares me.
Yeah.
So it's the Rockets, it's the fear of the Rockets, not Dylan Brooks. The fear of the Rockets as a team elevates my hate of Dylan Brooks because now he can succeed with this team and be elevated as a goal. Wow, he's a real gamer. No, fuck that. He's a fucking garbage player who should not be on a fucking contending team. I don't think
I'm following your logic.
And so I fucking hate him so much that I hate the Rockets even more. Now again, I'll also add players you like on the team can complicate hate. Derek White on the Celtics, I fucking love that dude. That dude's a great player. I love the way he plays, and it's annoying that he's on the fucking Celtics. Like, they don't fucking deserve him. Adams on the Rockets, fucking love Adams. He's the fucking best.
Oh, I was just thinking about I don't think it can work out, but I was like, can I get Adams on the Cavs next year?
Oh God, please! I would love that. Oh my God, he'd be so much fun. And Jimmy on the Warriors, right? Like, I'm sort of annoyed that Jimmy went to the Warriors. I'm like, fuck, man, I like Jimmy. Even he's a fucking knucklehead too, but like, I like Jimmy. I don't want to see him on the Warriors. So that was annoying. But also the other thing is, time softens hate. Time and weakness. Time and weakness, that softens hate. The Warriors don't fucking scare me, man. They aren't that good. They've been pretty bad for a while. They won that title and they fucking sucked. Like, that was infuriating. For example, like, Matt, who gives a shit about the Bulls anymore? Do you fucking hate the Bulls? They've sucked for years, man.
No, my God, no. I haven't hated them since 2015.
Yeah.
Joakim Noah.
Yeah, God. Yeah, exactly. But Jimmy Butler period, that was the part of the period. But like, even then, I didn't hate them as much as I hated them when they were the Jordan Bulls. It's even then, I wasn't scared of them. So
Patty, are you saying we're turning the page on hating the Warriors?
I'm not going that far, but my point is they are below the Celtics and Oklahoma City, and I'm not saying they're below the Rockets. I am kind of pulling for the Rockets to put the Warriors to sleep because I fucking hate them. But I'm glad the Rockets got pushed to the brink first of all. And I don't know.
I'm rooting for the
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm rooting for the Rockets for that reason, Patty. If the Cavs had secured their spot in the finals, and the Western Conference Finals was Warriors Rockets, I would be rooting for the Warriors.
Yeah, so we can beat them.
So we can beat them in exact revenge, but also because I'd be less concerned about them than the Rockets.
Yeah, but because you don't want the Warriors to play OKC and get rolled in the conference. You know what I mean? Like that's right. Like, you'd rather have the Rockets be playing OKC, right?
I'd rather have the Rockets be playing OKC. I'm not like somebody's going to beat somebody up, and whoever comes out of there is whatever. The Warriors are going to get rolled by them. I think the Rockets probably will get rolled, but they'll beat the shit out of them at a minimum during that series. Exactly. And I still like the Warriors. And maybe this is where I have a little more sympathy to Skylar's point of view. I do hate the Warriors, and I want them to lose, and I like them being humiliated.
Yes, true. I do enjoy them being humiliated.
So
I like to see them humiliated by the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Who I fucking enjoy, or the Lakers. I love seeing Lakers beat the Warriors that one year.
Oh, that was so nice.
So satisfying. Having LeBron beat the Warriors, like, that's what I want. I want to see a team that I don't fucking hate beat the Warriors. That's what complicates things. This is like Knicks Celtics a little bit. Again, the Rockets, most of those players, I don't have opinion about them, or I love them like Adams, but they scare me. That's why they scare me, and they have the player I fucking hate more than anyone in the league. So it makes it harder for me to have a real bone in this fight. It does feel like Steelers playing the Ravens a little bit. So that's to explain my philosophy. Again, I don't think my hatred of so many teams, Celtics, Rockets, OKC, Warriors, Knicks, Celtics, like that's like, I think 6 teams now I'm at. Like definitely.
I think you said Celtics twice, but yes, I'm with you.
Well, I deserve to say Celtics twice. Number one with the bullet. It's weird. I feel like they are a little number one with the bullet right now. Don't you feel like? Am I crazy? Is that
the Celtics?
Yeah. Do you hate them the most? I feel like they're our biggest threat in the East. One, and I fucking hate them so much. I really hate them. And Boston is a sports town. I have so many reasons to hate Boston as a sports city too.
I think it has to be them.
They're number one.
I'm just thinking about Jason Tatum getting away with that push off against us over and over again. It's making me so mad.
The entire league. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So they're number one.
Sam Hauser just hit a 3 in the corner in my head, and it made me so mad. Yeah.
It just happened in your head and made you angry.
Oh, man. That made me real mad.
The fucking 6th man of the year, dude, is an extra in the fucking town.
Oh, God. Yeah. I don't like Pritchard at all. Yeah. It's them.
Like there's so many hateable players. Oh, my God. We'll leave that for another day. Can I just briefly pause to give my theory of Skylar's school of hate?
I mean, this is
follow the logic of what he's saying.
This is fascinating because he has. We know he has his PhD, Patty. So any analysis of his hate is
no. I'm just saying. I'm taking what he said in his challenge to me, not his entire body of work. Because Skylar's entire body of work, again, he is the greatest hater of them all. And why I point out to him, I feel like you're kind of less of a hater now. I was like, this is shocking to me. I feel like you've come down to me. Because I think what he's promoting right now is a monogamous theory of sports hate.
Oh, yeah.
That if you don't hate on one girl, on one team exclusively, you're cheapening your hate of that number one with a bullet.
It's almost like your
loyalty to your team.
It's like a mercantilist hate policy or hate theory.
Yes, the Peter
now,
Navarro.
Pat, there's only so much hate to go around, and if you spend all of that hate,
I'll have to come up with a ad hoc on a back of a napkin a formula for my. For my reciprocal hate trade. All right, sorry, too much politics.
I like it.
I will get rid of that. But yeah, it seems like guys seem to think that playing the field cheapens hate. If you can only choose one team to hate, again, this is what I come back to. Why would it be the Warriors? It's the Celtics, right? It's obviously the Celtics.
Yeah.
I don't know why it would be Warriors. We would beat the Warriors easily. We want them to advance. Like that's what complicates this. I'd rather them knock off the Rockets, a bigger threat to us. I'd rather them knock off the OKC, a much bigger threat to us, so that we can beat them in the finals. That would be amazing. Yeah. And to beat the Warriors in the finals, that would be the ultimate. Like fuck you. So that Skylar,
Patty, you're making a lot of sense right now, buddy.
I know, but I'm being unfair. Skylar's not here to defend himself. So, Skylar, I think the next podcast you need to come on and I will give you
really explore this.
Yes, I will give you equal time. Equal time meaning not the entire podcast, but equal time for the portion that I described my theory of hate and your theory of hate. It'll be your turn to describe to respond. But that's what I don't get about Skylar's monogamous theory of sports hate. Again, I don't think this is the full body of Skylar's hate work. I think he's dabbling here. I think he's an innovator. He's the greatest of all time. But he's obviously just trying new things. He's expanding the bounds of what we think of with sports hate. He is a Picasso of sports hate, of hater. Not just sports hate. It's beyond that. It's all hater. It's like
hate in general. He's hated it in ways that you and I can only dream about, Patty.
Exactly. I do not hold myself above him in this regard. I recognize the greats and I give him all due respect. So I would love for Skylar to come on the next podcast to continue this conversation. Can we do one brief sojourn over into two other of our friends' sports hate theories? We have our buddy Scott Fuller, who is another super hater, like Pantheon. I think he's up there on the Mount Rushmore of our friends of hate. Scott, let's just briefly describe how Scott's hatred spurs from loyalty, and it's so intense that it's like horseshoe. It comes around and then eats itself. It's an Ouroboros, a snake eating itself of hate.
I like this, Patty.
LeBron, he loved the Cavs so much, and so like all of it, when LeBron left the first time from Miami, fucking hated him. Like when the Heat lost that first NBA Finals, it felt like we had won the NBA Finals. He was with us. We were all on the same page, all in the exact same spot there. You, me, Matty, and Scott, all on the same page there. He comes back. You and I have quickly turned around and be like, oh my God, this is the best. And like this redemption story, like great. Scott says, I don't know. Actually, I remember this. Actually, we talked about this back when you had a rumor that he might come back, and Scott was like, "You know what? I don't want it." I remember him saying this before it even happened. I think I'll hate him even more if he comes back. I will never accept him back. And I was like, "Whoa, that is like, I don't know. Is that more ultimate fandom? It kind of is, right? He betrayed us. Why can you ever let him back?" But we accepted him back, and then Scott had painted himself into a corner where he had to hate the Cavs. His hatred, his love for the Cavs turned into hate for the Cavs when the object of just pain came back and
it's like a Greek tragedy, Patty.
At one point. It was tragic. It was the most depressing. And now I feel like he's in like he's kind of come full circle. He's made amends. I feel like he's I feel like
is he a Cavs fan? I don't even know now. I don't know where he is now. I don't think he's rooting against the Cavs, but I don't think he's.
No, I think this whole experience probably disoriented him a little bit in his fandom. It must have been a very disorienting experience to root against the Cavs for 4 years and to root against the Cavs when they finally won the championship, the only championship that you and I, all of us, as Cleveland sports fans, have ever had in our lifetime. That's hard, man. Like that's a tough penalty play. I gotta say, I will be super psyched for Scooter because here's the thing. We always said part of the reason why the championship in 2016 was so powerful and important is because we were nearly 40 and we'd spent our entire lives not having any sports championship, and all of the heartbreak built up to how important that was. How much bigger is it going to be for Scott when Cleveland does win a championship again? And he's been through this whole crazy fucking cycle, and then they win. He didn't even get the joy of 2016. I will be like super happy and good, but it will never feel the way it did in 2016. It'll be 2016 for the first time for Scott.
I guess that's right. It'll be his first.
So I am fucking pulling for Scott to get his first championship, and he can be a championship like you and me, Matty. We'll bring him on. We'll introduce him as champion for the first time champion. We'll be 2-time champions. He'll be first-time champion.
I like that.
Last one I want to talk into, and I want you to give me your take first. I've been talking too much, of course. Stiggy. Our friend, he got real salty about Giannis Antetokounmpo. After that, if you don't recall, they lost. He was upset, and then Hallie's dad, so you can tell where he gets it from, came up and started jawing at him like after he'd lost, like classist behavior, but whatever. And then like Giannis got really upset.
I mean, stood in front of him with that.
What's that?
He stood in front of him with that like sheet or whatever that had Halliburton's face on it. I don't think we know what he said to him exactly, but was not just.
He hinted at a lot of F-bombs like this is what we fucking do, this is what we fucking do, and stuff like that. And like Giannis has gotten upset before, especially with the Pacers when he got that big, huge 60-point game, I think, right? And then he tried to get the ball and they stole the ball and all that stuff, so he got real upset.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of history here. He gets real upset. And then he says after the game, like, I'm a humble guy. Like where I come from, my dad came from nothing. You don't do this.
You should be humble in victory.
Humble in victory, right? And Stiggy took great exception to that.
Umbrage, I would call it.
And shared a clip of him shimmying at his old teammate Beasley after he blocked the shot of his 3-pointer and stuff, and said, like, this guy. What class of sports hate would you categorize this, Matt?
I have a hard. We talked about this getting right. I don't know what this is one of the things you and I need to explore here. I don't even know how to define it exactly. It's
contrarian. I think I know
it is contrarian in some way, but not in a. It's not exactly that either, though.
I think it's an objection to inauthentic valor. I think the idea Giannis is seen as this great dude, humble guy,
and that Giannis presented himself in that way, not seen in that way, but presented himself in that way.
Yes,
and Versteeg was very yes. I don't think I bought his evidence. I think I side with you on the Beasley shimmy. I think that was he thought he was doing something.
The way we
good-natured. Good-natured ball busting to a former teammate, which it obviously was not received that way. But I think that was his intention. It was done with a smile on his face, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not a mean smile, not a leering, smirky smile.
And he immediately came to him and he's like, oh, I was just doing a thing. I was doing a bit. Like you can see him trying to like make up, and Beasley was like, fuck off. Like I am pissed. You blocked the shot at me, and I feel shitty, and like fuck you. And he was like mad for like several days. It seemed like,
And I think that is distinctly different to me than a playoff series ends and you go up to a guy on the court and do that. Like that was the end of a regular season game that it matters, but doesn't really matter. It's not the end of a playoff series.
Well, your season
at the end of a game that you lost in brutal fashion.
Yeah.
And then to have a guy come do that, that does feel there's a difference in scale and type to me there that distinguishes those.
Yeah, I would have lost my shit if I was Giannis in that scenario.
Then he kept it together and didn't just
lock him. Yeah, exactly.
Just bop that old man on the head.
To bop him from up top. Like under the Giant. Bop the guy.
I think that's right. I think that was his beef though. Is it's feigned humbleness.
Yes, I think, and I think Siggy has a real keen sense of that, and that is definitely something that sets him off. But that's sort of an interesting thing to keep an eye on, because Siggy is also a connoisseur of hate, I would say. Yeah,
he's
a connoisseur.
He's up there. I think those are the three big ones, distinct in their hate in interesting ways.
Yes, absolutely.
Three different types. Skylar, the greatest of them all, of course.
Peerless, untouchable, goat hater. All right, Matt, should we talk a little bit about the Tribe and the Browns? Do we have time for that?
I will say I have
quickly,
2 minutes on the Tribe.
Yeah, go ahead.
You and I have been saying, like, I just don't know if they have it this year. I mean, they're still, I think, I haven't checked the standings after they lost today, but like, I think they'd still be in the playoffs right now. They'd be a wild card team.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, part of that is that the American League stinks. They get there, but like their run differential is terrible.
Terrible.
There's like a third order, one of the statisticians does like a third order win where you're looking at underlying stats and has them rated just above the White Sox.
Jeez.
That feels a little much. They've gotten blown out in a few games that affects those things, but like they've like, we didn't talk about this before the season, but there was a world where you're like, okay, Rocchio hits like he did in the playoffs and starts to show that potential, and Noel does something, and Lane Thomas is in a contract year, and Santana holds, and it's just like none of the stuff that we needed to happen has happened.
Yeah.
Their starting pitching, Bybee and Williams, have been bad for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Clase, terrible, full on tire fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have a winning record, but they can pull out of this stuff. Some stuff can turn around. What bothers me is they went to the American League Championship, played the Yankees tough in that series.
Yeah,
like I know it went 5, but those were tight games. And rather than saying, all right, we got something here, let's invest and do it.
All in. Yeah. No.
They sold off parts. Like, would you rather have Josh Naylor than Carlos Santana right now? You definitely would.
Mm-hmm.
Arias has been playing great, and offensively has probably been close to what Jimenez has been in Toronto, but like
defensively,
could have just moved Jimenez over to shortstop and started Arias and
exactly.
sorted it. You know, I was texting you. What did they spend on Junis, Seawald, and Santana collectively was $24 million. Why? That's the thing I will never understand about them, is why they go into these and give like the Ramon Laureano contracts every year.
It never pans out. I don't get it.
Never works. Just pool that money and pay or extend Quan, or I don't know, do whatever the hell you're going to do with it. But that's when they traded Jimenez, I was like, okay, I can see my way to this, assuming they feel like that contract's going to go bad and let's reinvest that money. But
yeah,
they did not, and that's starting to make me mad now.
So I'll give you the glass half full. Then you laid out all of the problems for the Tribe this year, but I would say, one, if they do take that money eventually to extend sign Quan, right? Because he's got a couple of years left to his rookie arbitration stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. Like he's our J-Ram 2.0. I mean, he's not gonna be J-Ram, but he's like the most important position player after J-Ram, 100%. 2, we've got we've got some injuries. We've got some hitters can come around.
It's hard for people to be worse on offense, honestly.
Yeah. So that's going to come around. So you can see this. We're above 500. We're sticking in there. We're hanging around. That's the thing. Baseball. You just gotta hang around 500 and then get fucking hot. And this team can definitely get hot at some point this year. That's the wish. And if we don't get there, fine. This is another lost year. Like we had that between our last playoff year. We had the off year between.
Yeah, 23 was
yeah
never came together.
And then the next year we've got our second baseman in waiting in Travis Bazzana, and then
you looked at his have you looked at his AA stats lately, Patty?
Shit, is he falling off again? He was so fucking hot in the year.
He came down. I mean, I'm not freaking out or anything yet, but he's not beating the tar off the ball.
I need to hear that. Well, on that womp womp note, let's talk about the Browns.
Jesus Christ, man.
What the fuck are they doing, Matty?
Have you seen a lot of the sports sites draft grades for them have been sort of good?
High, very high. I don't get it.
I think I think Kuiper gave him I know Kuiper was bananas for Sanders, but like I think gave him an A. I don't know, man.
I did this exercise where I saw like the worst and the best thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start at the bottom and see how find the Browns there.
Yeah,
I went through the whole fucking article and found them at number 2. I'm like, what the fuck? At number 2? This is ridiculous. What?
Yeah, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, right?
Exactly. Oh, we drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round who had a 5th round grade or whatever, like crazy, way high. And then we drafted another quarterback. Oh, but because he was graded maybe 1st round, what? Like, and people are talking about how, like, oh, great, it's good because Shedeur Sanders is going to be your quarterback. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Why would a 5th round quarterback be our starting quarterback when we drafted another quarterback ahead of him by 2 rounds, and we signed Flacco, who took us the playoffs 2 years ago?
Patty,
and we traded another quarterback. We traded a 5th round pick for 3 picks. We traded for 3 quarterbacks. The fuck are we doing? When can we eject Jimmy Haslam into the fucking sun? Just sell the team to someone who will just hire people and shut the fuck up.
I have no idea what they're up to, man. None.
I feel for Barry. I feel for Stefanski. I think they're actually decent, smart people that are, they're not perfect, but they're making smart decisions. They're doing decent things. I feel like every terrible decision is obviously Jimmy Haslam, and it's driving me crazy.
I don't even know what to say. When I saw that they picked, I was just dumbfounded. Joe Posnanski, who I read and like quite a lot. Amazingly, when they took Gabriel, right, in the quarterback in the 3rd round, right then he was like, they're going to draft Sanders.
Oh no! God.
It's amazing. His reasoning for it is amazing. He's like, this team, I know them deeply. I know them in my bones. They're out of their minds, and I know that this is what's going to happen. I know that's exactly the most Browns thing to do. They're going to take 100%. They're going to do it. And
my theory was the reason why they reached so high on Gabriel in the 3rd round was because they wanted to take Shedeur Sanders off the table for Jimmy Haslam to say, hey, look, we drafted a quarterback. We can't draft another quarterback. It's ridiculous, because they knew as he dropped further and further and further, the pressure from Jimmy Haslam was going to get greater and greater and greater to draft him, and they wanted nothing to fucking do with him. And then you see that fucking video of the draft.
It's like a hostage video.
Oh, exactly. They're so fucking miserable. I feel so bad for them. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's also like, what a sad, like, this is it for Nick Chubb, right?
Oh, yeah. Although I heard someone say that it maybe isn't, but I don't know how. I mean, like, why would you? I don't know why we bring him back, but I mean, unless like no one else signs him, and then I would take him in the draft. And then you lose Pierre Jackson. I'm like, how many running backs can you have in the running back room?
This team is drunk.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I love Nick Chubb, but I don't know that he's gone.
Oh, I think his career is maybe gone.
Yeah.
I don't just mean his time. It's such a sad ending for a guy that is, I don't know, in my top.
Yeah, top 10
Browns.
Give me 5. Yeah. That would make me happier than. I mean, like running backs for sure. Like you got Jim Brown, who I never it was
I have no
connection, but like you know, and Mary Motley and all that stuff. But like, I love Kevin McInerney as minor, but like no one gave me such pure joy like Nick Chubb did. I mean, I fucking love Nick Chubb.
No, I mean, for the zombie Browns, who would even? It's him and Garrett, and I don't know. I don't even know who's close on that. Joe Thomas.
Joe Hayden was for a brief period.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
I mean, that's a Jesus Christ. What a I don't know. I mean, I guess they'll be interesting, Patty. Maybe.
You really adopted the dog. We were born molded by it. That is what that is, man. Oh my God.
They got a lot of work to do. They need a ton of help on offensive line still. Their wide receiver room is a mess.
Yikes. Well, I'm glad that I don't have this. I'm glad that I've taken away the suspense of whether I'm going to spend a lot of money to be able to buy the package to watch the Browns games this season. The answer
is nice to have that off. Yes,
nope.
I can.
Not gonna. Nope.
I can redeploy those resources elsewhere in my life.
I will read a book. I will relax and have an enjoyable Sunday afternoon.
There is something that's sort of nice about that, especially living out of market when I just can't put it on the TV. I'm just like, all right, I'll save myself the trouble.
Yep. I think I'll stroll, spend time with my family, and do some wholesome shit, you know?
Yes.
Well, that seems like as good a note as any to end this on. We went a little long here. We went a little extra here.
Shocking. Shocking for us, Patty.
Well, it's been a while. We had a lot to talk about. A lot to get to.
It has. Let's come back and talk again in the playoffs. Yes?
Let's do it again. Yeah, I think we'll be a little more svelte the next one. We won't put a timeline on it, but certainly at the end of this next series, we'll definitely see another podcast. There could be an emergency one sooner. We'll see how that comes, but we'll definitely do one after this next round, come what may. But in the meantime, this is Matty and Patty saying.
Yes.
Ooh, we nailed that.
Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen with your fast break action. Gotta make it happen. Just keep on coming on. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Cavaliers basketball is what it's all about. Throughout the NBA, they've never little doubt that when the pressure's on and the game is almost through, the Cavs will make it happen and rally 2 by 2. We'll never surrender. No way. Ain't no way, never surrender. No matter what the odds.